We're back with Dustin Mathews.
Dustin Mathews is someone after my own heart. He reminds me of when I was maybe 5 years younger. But he's the king of unsecured loans, and I was talking to him the other day, and this kid's just killing it out there. And what he's doing is he's learned a system to get business unsecured credit cards, lines of credit. And Dustin, you've actually raised $93,000 of unsecured credit within 3 months.
That's right.
All right. You got to take me now back to how you've done this.
Well, basically, it's really simple. I've contacted certain banks and told them what they wanted to hear on the bank without lying or pushing the envelope, none of that stuff, and just went after banks and filled out applications and simply got a credit card back in the mail, then showed some good payment, and then asked for more.
So, okay, a lot of people out there, you know, you have to have good credit or decent credit to start this?
Generally, I'd say yes. Typically, we're looking for like a 650 or 680 credit score.
Right.
But there's some ways around that. If you had a partner or somebody in your family had a good credit score, you could put them on your corporation, and now you could go after credit in their name.
Okay, let's go back, because people out there listening, this is corporate credit.
Correct.
Business credit that people have difficulty getting a lot of times because they think that a business needs to mature 2 years before they can even start applying. Isn't that usually the thinking?
I mean, if you try and walk into a bank and ask for money, they're going to want to see financials.
Sure.
They're going to want to see your business plan.
Right.
They're going to want to see a lot of paperwork. I mean, you have to give your right arm to get money out of a bank if you do it that way. But if you do it the unconventional way, the method that I know, you can go and get unsecured lines of credit.
How new was this business that you had that you used to get unsecured lines of credit?
Just over 1 year, 1 year old.
That's it?
1 year.
1 year?
1 year.
So it wasn't the 2 years that you had to wait and show?
Years, right.
Because that's conventionally what I know from having corporations for quite some time. Everybody say wait for 2 years for them to mature.
Right.
Just like you said, so you could show financial statements, so you could, you know, build up your credit, and in the meantime you apply for commercial accounts, whether it be Home Depot or Lowe's. But now, explain to me the process of how you started. You have decent credit to begin with, right? So then you go to, where do you go?
All right, so
you don't go to the bank right away, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. But I don't walk in and talk to somebody. What I do is I go to websites like Bank of America and I get an application. And typically what I like to do is get a paper application for them. So I could call to the call center or request an application online, and I get it in the mail and I fill it out, and then I either fax it back or send it back to
Okay, so the main thing for people to understand is don't go to the bank personally.
Right.
Because there's a human element there, and I'm assuming they deny you on the spot, or
they have a formula that they use to determine, you know, how much money they're going to give you. The way that we go is I didn't even show any financials. I didn't show a business plan. Nothing.
Well, that's big, because a lot of people feel that you have to show financials, or they're told that.
It's never been easier to start a company. You know, you can't use that excuse anymore. I don't have money, because now we can go. You can literally open a corporation in the next week, get your tax identification number, and if you have a 650, 680 credit score or a credit partner, or if you go to the guys that were just on and they fix your credit to get up to that point, there's another way to get up there.
Sure.
Then we go and submit the applications. And here's the best part. It's not on your personal credit report. This is all on your business, so we separate.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right there.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
People could go get business credit, but a lot of times what they will do is they will tie it to your personal credit.
Right.
So they'll say, okay, no problem, we'll give you credit, but the collateral is we're going to go after your personal if you do anything. Is that correct?
That's right. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs start, I mean, I know I did, with my own personal credit cards, get everything going. We don't have to do that. So what we want to do is put everything in the business's name, so eventually down the road that you are not personally guaranteeing anything as a person, the entity is. So if anything bad should happen, the corporation gets taken out, not you.
Now, and how big is that for someone starting out? I mean, you've raised $93,000, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually up to 108, and this is I'm in my 4th month. So this is brand new for me, experiment on myself. I'm in my 4th month.
How high do you think you can go?
I would top out probably around $200,000 to $300,000.
Really?
Right.
Of unsecured corporate debt?
Unsecured corporate debt. And then after I show some history, this is just off the cuff, filling out applications, making payments, going out and buying things that I need for my business, office supplies, paying them on time, because that's a good thing to pay people back on time.
Yeah, we don't want late pays.
We want to show that history. Then we go back and say, hey, look, we've shown 3 months of good history. Increase this more. Shoot for the moon.
So let me ask you this: obviously there's a certain method that you use to even get it, but now let's say you've already used the method that you know to use, and now it's 3 months later. Do they not say to you, hey man, we just gave you credit, it's 3 months, why don't you wait 6 months? And how much credit do you ask for? Do you say, hey, I need another $50,000 increase? Do they think you're going to Vegas? You know what I mean? How do you know how much to ask for?
I would say there's no rule of thumb. I just said shoot for the moon. I'll give you a prime example of what I did. I put an application in to a bank. They sent me back a credit card for $12,000, letter in the mail. I went out and made purchases over 3 months and paid them back in a timely fashion. I called back, and this is where a lot of people get nervous because they think they're talking to the VP of the bank.
They always get nervous.
No, they're talking to a telemarketer who's
$8 an hour.
Exactly, looking at a formula. So the first time I asked for $20,000, they said yes right away. So what do you think I did the second time?
Yes, for 50.
Right. I asked for more. Now here's what happened. They denied me. They said, we're sorry, Mr. Mathews. We couldn't give you $50,000. We could only give you 20.
So you got
that was an
20.
Increase on that credit card. It was an increase of another $8,000. So too bad I didn't get the 50. I got 8 more.
Now, is it good if you have a clean slate, no debt, or can you carry some debt on your credit cards? Current though.
Really, it's your personal credit score. Because what we're doing is we're actually personally guaranteeing this money, but we're putting it in the business's name. So you're not going to find somebody that's going to give you money without some sort of guarantee or something put up against it. Now, we're not putting up our house. We're not taking a line of credit on anything.
So it's the corporation that's tied to it, even though you're saying, okay, here, you could check on my credit score.
Right.
But the corporation is tied to it.
It's in the corporation's name, and eventually down the road, when we've shown enough history, we can start getting away from personally guaranteeing things and have the corporation do it.
How far down the road do you think that would be?
I would say about a year's time.
About a year's time?
About a year's time. You've got to really show them that your financials are in order, you have some credit out, you have a good track record, and then in about a year's time, you can start asking, well, I don't want to personally guarantee. Let's not look at that. Let's just look at my corporate credit score.
So within 3 months, you could get started immediately with corporate credit. And then, a period of every 3 months, would you say you check up with them?
Typically, that's what I do. 3 months. I did get denied a couple times. Don't call us back in 3 more months.
But at the same time, it didn't negatively affect you to the point where you couldn't call back 3 more months and get more credit.
This is the great thing,
because people would be scared. You know that.
For sure.
Calling up every 3 months.
I think this is great. I was listening to the personal credit. There are no inquiry penalties for business credit. Now, I don't know if we have time to get into it, but there's basically 2 main business credit bureaus. They make the money selling the information about your company.
Talk about it.
Okay. There's basically 2. You got Dun & Bradstreet, and then you have Experian. They don't have a 800 credit score. They have a range from 0 to 100.
Oh, okay. Business credit.
For your business credit.
I didn't know that.
And an 80 is ideal. That's good, having an 80. So there's two corporate credit bureaus. When you get an 80, you start getting offers in the mail. Just like the personal credit guys were saying, they're selling your information to banks, and if you have a good score, they're going to start sending you offers.
Oh, so the banks come to you.
Right, down the road. See, at first, we have to go after the banks and say, hey, we're in existence, give us some money. Then after a while, we show this, we get our credit score up, business credit score up, then they start sending offers to us. The banks start chasing us for money.
So now, what is your business credit score? Is it somewhere in the 80s or 70s?
Well, right now, I actually don't have a business credit score.
And you're still getting credit?
And I'm still getting credit. Because the way that this works is you need to have certain vendors, they're called trade vendors, report back to the business credit bureaus in order to establish a score.
So you're in the process of these vendors reporting back. So once you get that score, you're off and running into the 200, 300,000.
Exactly. There's going to be a limit about how much money that I can get just going after applications. Then to take it to the next level, we got to start showing payment, and I have to start establishing a business credit score.
That's amazing, because now you could have 150 to 200,000 of business credit, and then on personal, you could have another 80 to 100. So you could have close to $250,000 at your disposal based on 2 different scores, correct?
Chris, it gets even better than that. You know, with a Social Security, which personal credit's based off of, you can only have one unless you know of another way to get another one.
I know a couple people that do, but let's not talk about that. Go ahead.
But with a corporation, how many corporations can you have?
As many as you want.
As many as you want. So you can go and set up credit for each one of your corporations. So you could have 5, 6, 7 corporations with $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in credit. Whereas personal credit, you get tapped out. You can only get so much money. And then your score is going to go down, and you're going to get
So this
less
is very
access.
powerful stuff.
This is incredibly
This
powerful.
is a business tool that could leverage you straight to the top.
Most definitely. And that's the number one, I don't know if you know this stat, but the number one reason why businesses fail, of the 95% of people that start a business and fail,
Underfunded.
lack
Always.
of financing.
Yeah.
Lack of financing.
Well, Dustin, King of Unsecured Loans, you're a young man. You're going straight to the top. Thank you for coming on Millionaire Mindset. And for those of you watching Millionaire Mindset, stay tuned, because we'll be right back with Bleeping Truth. And trust me, you don't want to miss this episode today. We'll be right back, folks.